Hi, I'm back again to talk about the Thinkpad T60 notebook. I recently bought a T61, which is on my right side, a few weeks ago on Easter, and I'm going to compare it to my older T60 notebook, which I did a video about a year ago on that got a lot of views and a lot of criticism that asking me to talk more about the computer and why it was a good notebook to buy if you're invested in a PC notebook still. I went out recently. I wanted to upgrade my T60 after I've had it for about 4 to 5 years now, and I realized a lot of what Thinkpad is doing, Lenovo is doing now with the Thinkpad notebooks, the T series. They're mostly widescreen now, and I'm not a fan of the widescreen notebooks because they kind of show you less information, and they're more for, I guess, watching media and movies and stuff like that. And I tend to do more document work and spreadsheet work on my computers. I have a widescreen TV in my living room, my bedroom, and I also have a desktop computer that has a widescreen monitor. So when it comes to a laptop, a notebook, I didn't really need a widescreen on my laptop. That's it. I'm going to go into it. The notebooks are the T60 and the T61 are similar, and I realize these are still popular because a lot of Thinkpad I guess enthusiasts and fans don't like the widescreen direction that Lenovo is going in, and they're seeking out these older ones. And the T61 was from 2007, the T60 was from 2006, fall of 2006, fall of 2007, 2008. I think maybe even 2009 they're still selling T61s with the standard screen, not the widescreen. This is the standard 4.3 screen. And these screens are both SXGA, which will give you 1400 by 1050 resolution, which is pretty good. I like that. That's one of my big things about the T-Series. And my T60, you can see the specs there. You can pause the video. It has basically the Intel Core Duo 2.0 gigahertz speed. Lenovo classifies that as a T2500, I guess, setup. And it has the ATI graphics at 512 shared, 128 dedicated. I like that specs. I don't really understand what video shared memory is, but whenever I ran the test on it, it's telling me I'm using 512 megabytes of video memory in my computer. This had the 512. I upgraded to 2 gigabytes of memory RAM, 100 gigabyte hard drive it came with, XP Professional, 32 bits. The goodies in this is the fingerprint reader, the PCI options, 2 PCI options. You have Express card as well as the regular PCI slot. 3 USB 2.0 standard, DVD multi 2 burner. IBM classifies this as multi 2. It has the blue button. You press that button, it takes you right to Lenovo support, which is kind of cool. I have a Dell computer that the support, I think for Dell, is sort of loads every time you turn the computer on. It takes a little while. This, it doesn't load. If you need it, you push the button, it takes you to the support. If you don't need the support, it's not cluttering your memory, it's not cluttering your background thing. It's not always running, it's not always telling you to update, whatever. You push the button and you decide when you want to update it. I put a 6-in-1 card reader in the PCI slot to read SD cards and, I guess, media cards. The specs in this is as follows. The physical specs: 5.2 pounds with a 6-cell, that gives you 4 hours. 5.5 with a 9-cell, that gives you 6 to 8 hours. 9 cells is the battery. The battery gives you that type of life. The shell of the top shell is a super elastic polycarbonate, which is really durable. Shell bottom is a carbon fiber reinforced plastic, which is, again, is durable. And on top of that, Lenovo puts in interior magnesium roll cage, which is really cool. It's a skeletal. So you drop that thing, you drive a car over it. It's going to protect the motherboard and most of the important components. And like I said in my first video, the keyboard of this and the base is water porous, liquid porous. So you pour water anywhere on the keyboard or the base, it pours through the notebook without touching the vital components of the computer. And this just shows you a picture of that magnesium roll cage. Instead, I think there's a T61 actually, because the T61 roll cage is more, it looks more like a skeleton, it has more holes in it, whereas the T60 is more solid, like it's like a flat panel. But the T61, the roll cage is more, has more holes in it, I guess, for lightness, I guess, the weight. And my T61 is the 8892, which is the same as 889. I thought it was 8889, but it's the 889202U. Intel Core 2, not 1, that's the one there. And this says 2.2 gigahertz, and Lenovo classifies it as a T7500 setup. And it has NVIDIA memory at 512 shared, 128 megabytes dedicated. The Intel wireless card is slightly different. It's the 4965AG. Same screen as the T60, the SXGA. But I think the screen maker on my T61 is a little different. It might be Philips. I think Samsung Toshiba made the screens on a T60. 4 gigabytes of memory, I updated it, but because I have Windows XP Professional 32 bits, the system only recognizes 3.25 gigabytes of memory RAM. The goodies inside are Bluetooth 2.0, something I've never used in a computer, fingerprint scanner, login, whatever, the dual PCI options, the 3 USB 2.0 standard. This has DVD multi 3 burner, and I upgraded to an 18-in-1 memory card reader for media cards in my PCI slot, as well as I added 2 USB 3.0 ports to my PCI Express slot. And again, this has the blue button that takes you to Lenovo service, which is kind of cool. Lenovo service and support. And the specs are a little bit, 0.1, it's about the same. 0.1 here, bit more. 12.3, that was 12.2. 1.1. And same weight, 5.3 with the 6 cell and 5.6 with the 9 cell. Same setup there. And let's just look at the physically, they look the same on outside. The logo's a little different on the lid. This has IBM with the red, green, and blue, and it just has Thinkpad there. The setup is the same. Like, these are I take care of these. I've been using my T60 for about 4 years. I take good care of them. And my T61 I just got. The lid is new, so it has a sticker. And the side is all the same, pretty much. These are my dual PCI slots. I have in here, I don't know if you can see, I have my USB 3.0 card. So it adds the 2 USB slots. That's 3.0 slots. And on the bottom, I have my 18-in-1 PC card reader. So they don't come with SD slots or memory card slots, media card slots, but you could always add it to the PCI options. You could always add that and take it out, whatever. So that's kind of, it gives you flexibility on what you want to add there, which is kind of cool. Like I said, the specs are the same. The multi comes out like that, the DVD multi 3, and that gives you flexibility to add a second hard drive or a second battery to that slot. So you just put it in there like that, and it reads that as a second hard drive. So which is cool. Like if you wanted to clone your hard drive, like if you're upgrading your hard drive, you just buy one of these things. I bought this one on eBay it came from California, not China, California, believe it or not, for about $9, and it adds my second hard drive. I'm gonna clone later today. I just bought this as 320 gigabyte hard drive, so I'm going to upgrade the 100 gigabytes to the 320 after I'm cloning this. And it's really easy. I've done it before, and I'm glad that Lenovo gives you the flexibility to do that. So I'm going to put that to the side. And this is that thing. Put the CD back in. I think multi 3 is faster than multi 2 because my T60 here has the same setup too. It has the multi 2. It says DVD multi 2. And this also goes in here. It's the same identical setup on these two computers. Now the differences don't really show until you open the lid. And the lid on my T60 is actually very superior to the lid on this T61. It has like a lot more durable parts. The clasp and lock is very durable in that. The clasp and lock, the clasp on this lid is very it's very mushy. It's kind of loose. It's not really stiff, and and the lid on the T61 sort of are known to have loose hinges. Like this one, the hinge is sort of loose, so it's a little wobbly. And the T60 is very stiff. Like I said, this lid feels heavier than this lid as well. The T61 lid is heavier. It feels heavier than the T60 lid. The screen is off-centered on this. It's not asymmetrical. So I'm going to turn that on so you can see the screen. So I'm turning them on at the same time so you can see. And there you go. They're loading up. I have the Asian keyboard on my T60, so the keyboards might look a little different. Like I said, you can swap out the keyboards on these things real easily if you want. And my fingerprint login is registered on my T60. So I'm going to swipe my finger to log in. Fingerprint login is a really cool feature, and it's like something that's a selling point of these computers. But I really don't like it anymore because it takes, you see why. It just adds extra time to your login on, and I don't like that. Maybe the newer T series, like the T400, T500, maybe Lenovo figured out like how to speed that up. But it's very secure, but it just adds an extra 5 minutes to your, turn it on your computer. And you can see this one, it doesn't have it. I haven't registered it. It's something you would register, and it tells you at the top, log in to enroll your fingerprint. So once you don't enroll it, but I'm not going to do that. Let me just put my password in. I only have the one password for the Windows XP to get me into the Windows. And see the difference? Very quick. It's already going to log on to my wireless. And these things are really cool because it starts like looking for your wireless connection. And I have my Windows Genuine Vintage notification, which I'm going to cancel because I'm not going to install, the Windows stuff. And the screen is very beautiful. You can see with the screen lit up, it's off-centered, so it's fat on this side and very skinny on this side. And the screen sort of sits on this side of the keyboard, which is kind of, it takes a little getting used to. If you're used to like the T60 screen, if you're used to that centered square screen, it's just, you don't notice it that much, but the screen is very bright, it's very beautiful. Let's dim the light so you can see. It's a very nice screen to see. Turn at least one of these lights back on. Yeah, and that one is still loading up. And I'm already on the internet, I believe. And this, I have no password done. So I'm going to just click out of there. Like that. And it's still loading up. It takes a little bit of time. And once that's going, I'm going to just talk about real quick. When I bought my T60, it was used. I went online and bought it because I was shopping for a notebook and I wanted a standard screen. And what I did was with my T60, I got rid of the original parts because they're a little bruised up from being used. The base came out real easy. So I replaced the base with a new base. And this is just an example of the base, what it looks like. I replaced the original keyboard that came with my T61 with a new keyboard. And I also replaced the palm rest, which was chipped on this side as well as the base was chipped on this side. And what was happening, my hard drive cover was sort of loose and rattly, so I just replaced it. These, with new parts, I think I paid altogether like less than $100, like maybe $80 or $70 for these parts. For these replacement parts. And to replace those parts, the lid and the base and the keyboard, all you would need is just a basic screwdriver. The screws on the bottom are slightly different shapes, so I got slightly different size screwdrivers. It's really easy. And also make sure if you're going to replace anything, buy a bag of screws. I bought this off eBay for about $3 and $1 shipped from California. And thermal heatsink compound, the Arctic Silver one, for your heatsink. So once you when you lift that motherboard up on a heatsink fan, you realize that there's a paste there that sort of helps get rid of the heat from the processor. That has to be re-spread over that processor. So buy a tube of this. This is like actually really cheap online, like you get for $3 to $4, $5 average. But if you buy it at Best Buy or Radio Shack, I paid $13 for this tube. So that's something to buy in advance. So get your heatsink compound and your bag of screws. The screws aren't, they're little and they're easy to lose while doing the job, but if you buy one of these used, you might find, like on my T61, like some of the screws in the bottom were missing. I don't know if they fell out over time. So buy a bag of replacement screws and keep them, always keep them just in case. You never know when you might need to use those. Those to the side. So as you can see now, we're up to my last login, and that's the Windows login. No password on that, and it's still loading up. Now we're at that screen. This is why I'm not gonna activate all the security parameters on my T61 because I like a quick login. I don't work for the CIA. I don't usually, I do use my laptop in a coffee shop, but I'm not really worried about, theft or like, you know, secret government documents getting stolen off my computer. So I'm not even gonna set up the fingerprint login on my T61 simply because that login time difference between the two. Like there's also other influences, like this motherboard. It's a little slow. It has less RAM than this one, but just the login of the fingerprint, and then the IBM login from the BIOS, then the Windows login, it just takes forever. You know, just too many login-ins, too many passwords. I'm not really big on that. One password is good for me in terms of what what I do, which is just Word documents and stuff like that. And you'll see how brighter the screen is on my T60. Same brightness. I'll just show you. The brightness is turned up on both of them. And the T61 screen is much brighter. And that was a big surprise when I first opened it and turned it on. I was like, wow, it's a much brighter screen. But then someone told me like the screens on the T60 tend to dim over time. So, and a lot of people have replaced the screen on the T60s that dimmed out or faded away. I guess just became very brown and gray over time. And you can see that's basically the differences between the T61 and the T60 computer. In terms of comparing the performance, like I said, this has the 4 gigabytes of memory RAM and this has 2, and the processor, the Intel Core 2 Duo is a little faster than this at 2.2 and 2.0. So I'm not really going to compare like performance specs at all. Like I said, like all I do is basic internet browsing and Word documents. So, and my thing with the 4.3 screens, the widescreen, it sort of, I'm gonna show you. It shows you like less information on the screen. So I find like a lot of those widescreens, like you're looking at this kind of real estate on your screen instead of that. So it's a lot of scrolling up and down. And I wasn't really, when I was looking for a new computer, I wasn't into buying a T400 or T500 with a widescreen simply because of that. I just felt it was just, the screen was just too flat, and I don't like the flat screens unless I'm watching a movie or watching Netflix. And I do watch Netflix and movies on my computer, but it's not something I do 90% of the time that's going to warrant me buying a widescreen computer. Like I said, I have a widescreen TV, widescreen desktop monitor. I don't need a widescreen on my laptop. And also I like the SXGA screen is just very fine resolution, so it shows you more information at once on that screen compared to a regular standard 1078 resolution by 760 or 724, whatever. So that's basically it. Like I said, I replaced the lid and the base on my T60, and it's really easy to do. It took me about an hour with the right tools, and you just organize your screws as you replace the screws. Get your heatsink compound if you're going to do that, and it takes about an hour. And it's really easy to do. Lenovo has the manual online that you can print out to show you how to replace parts of your computer. And that's pretty much it. Also, the blue button, I'm going to show you real quick. I push the blue button, and my ThinkVantage Productivity Center comes up, and whatever I want to do, I want to back up my computer, I want to defragment my hard drive, anything to service this computer. I could go online for help and support, and I could learn about my computer. I could do whatever, and it's really quick. It takes you right to the Lenovo Solutions website, and the website sort of reads what computer you have and tells you what you need to fix, based on what issues you have and the history of your computer, if there were like recalls on something, or things that need to be updated, which is really cool. I had an issue with this one, my T60, with the non-memory power error, the blue screen error that comes on. It was the only issue I've had with this for 4 years, and all I needed to do was push the blue button and update the Intel wireless card. And once I did that, it fixed the issue right away. And it took me about a day to figure out what I needed to do, and it was just easy. And that's it for the ThinkPad T61, comparing that to a T60 computer. And T60 was on this side.